Telephone Service Company is committed to education in the Wapakoneta area and is proud to support St. Joseph Catholic School in today's News 6. Local support has also been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.
Hi! We're the 6th grade class of St. Joseph's School in Wapakoneta, Ohio. Home of the Knights. Welcome to News 6!
Hi, I'm Rachel Sugar from St. Joseph Catholic School. Welcome to News 6. With today's first story, here's Andrea Kohler.
Maple Lane Farm is located in a beautiful setting just outside of Wapakoneta. It is a family-run business with several shops, quality food, and services for kids of all ages. News 6 reporter Bridget Westbay has the story.
Hi, I'm Bridget Westbay, and I'm talking to Mr. Bill Shaw, owner of the Maple Lane Farm. Mr. Shaw, what is Maple Lane Farm?
Maple Lane Farm is actually a grouping of different shops and stores here. Originally it was a operating farm, an apple orchard, but today we have 5 different stores operating here. We have the Apple House, which is a gift and decorating collectible store, the Apple Barn, which is a gourmet farm market with our own apples and smoked meats and cheeses, Amish cheeses, and a large variety. The ice cream parlor, which we're sitting in now, which we make our own homemade ice cream, chocolate candy factory, and an old-fashioned bakery.
How did you get started in the business?
This farm had been in my wife's family since about 1850 and had been sold in about 1940. So she had a chance to reacquire it after the demise of the people who owned this in 1992. We bought the farm and it had a large apple orchard. I had to think of a way to market my apples, so I created the businesses.
What kind of apples do you grow?
I grew 50 different varieties, but the ones that most people recognize is the Red Delicious, the Yellow Delicious, the Jonathans, the Macintosh, the Melrose, some of those type of apples which most people prefer to eat and cook with.
What types of things do you make with the apples?
Oh, gosh, we make all types of things. We make apple dumplings, we make apple pie, apple fritters, we make apple cider, which I'll show you how we make it in a little while. We make any type of varieties of baked goods with the apples.
Where did you get the name?
The name was created Maple Lane Farm back in the 1800s by the Emmerich family, which is my wife's grandparents.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw, for telling us about Maple Lane Farm. Now back to the studio.
Today's News 6 is produced by St. Joseph Catholic School in Wapakoneta, Ohio. The town was founded in 1721 and has the population of 10,989. Wapakoneta is located about midway between Toledo and Dayton, Ohio.
Our next story is about the police canine unit in Wapakoneta. Lieutenant Alan Gale and his partner Rex spent some time with News 6 and explained how the police dogs are trained and carry out their duties. News 6 reporter Kyle Anderson tells us more.
Hi, I'm Kyle Anderson, talking to Lieutenant Gale of the Wapakoneta Police Department about their canine unit. Lieutenant Gale, when did you first start using the dogs on the canine unit?
We've used the dogs since the early 1980s on our department, and I've been directly involved with it since like 1986.
What kind of dogs can be used on the canine unit?
About any kind of dog can be. We only use German Shepherds because of their versatility and their intelligence and loyalty.
What kind of training is required by you and the dogs?
We start out with basic canine school, which runs around 400 hours, and then you have a continuous advanced training.
How and why are the dogs used on the canine unit?
We use them for many purposes. We use them for tracking like lost people who walk away, say, from a rest home, missing children. We use them to search buildings where there's been break-ins, things like that. Kai in particular is also trained in narcotics work, and we do a lot of work with the State Highway Patrol where we search vehicles along the interstate for them. For narcotics, we search houses. We use him a lot with the drug task force to do search warrants and things like that.
How long are the dogs kept in service?
Normally, if their health is good till they're like 9 or 10 years old. It depends on the dog and his health.
Thank you, Lieutenant Gale, for talking to us about the Wapakoneta Canine Unit.
You're welcome.
Now back to the studio.
In this week's edition of Kids View, the 6th graders of St. Joseph's Catholic were asked about their favorite after-school activity, and here's what they said.
Hi, I'm Gary Coreyser with today's Kids View question, which is, what is your favorite hobby? My favorite after-school activity is drawing because it is fun and challenging and it's a way to express my feelings. My favorite hobby is watching movies. My favorite after-school hobby is playing basketball because I'm good at it and it's real fun.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind are probably the most famous words ever recorded by an astronaut. They ring out to the world as mankind watched the first man set foot on the moon. News 6 reporter Nicole Morris has the story.
Neil Armstrong is a Wapakoneta native who was the first man to set foot on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Hi, I am Nicole Morris at the Neil Armstrong Air and Space Museum, talking with Bonnie Wurst. Mrs. Wurst, what do you do at the museum?
Hey, my title is Interpretive Specialist, and that means I'm in charge of educational programs here at the museum. I do a lot of guided tours of groups that come to the museum, school groups, senior citizen groups, and scout groups. I also go out into schools and give lectures in the schools about space and the space program. And I do a special winter program here where classes come and are at the museum all winter and all day during the winter pretending that they're astronauts.
What are some of your favorite exhibits?
Two of my favorite exhibits are the Gemini space capsule that Neil Armstrong flew in 1966. When you look at that space capsule and you imagine 2 people for 3 days, it's just amazing. I also like the exhibit that's the moon rock. I think it's very interesting, really neat to see what a moon rock looks like.
How long has the museum been open?
This museum opened in 1972.
How many visitors does the museum get?
Okay, the museum gets about 60,000 visitors a year. About 8,000 of those are school group visitors. We have lots of families, we have lots of senior citizens visit, and we have a wide variety of people who come to the museum.
Have you ever met Neil Armstrong?
Yes, I did. I've met Neil Armstrong twice. About 5 or 6 years ago, I met him when his parents donated some items to the museum, and I met him in their home. And I met him in the summer of '94 when it was the 25th anniversary of the moon landing. He came to the museum to meet the staff. He didn't do a public appearance here, but he came and met the staff. It was very exciting to meet him.
This week in Critics Corner, St. Joe Catholic School chose My Side of the Mountain, written by Gene George. This book is about a boy named Sam Gribley who is tired of living in a crowded New York City apartment. One day he decides to run away and live in the Catskill Mountains. He only brings a penknife, ball of cord, and an axe and $40 and some flint and steel. He spends many months braving the cold and hardships. Read My Side of the Mountain to find out how Sam Gribley survives and how he eventually meets his parents and family again.
That's all for this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week when the 6th grade class of Bath Middle School visits News 6.
Telephone Service Company is committed to education in the Wapakoneta area and is proud to support St. Joseph Catholic School in today's News 6. Local support has also been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.